Today we're covering Ghost Rider 1 and 2. So we're going to start off just on our thoughts. We've recently just watched the movie, and then we're going to jump into the facts and theories. So Jake, what did you think of Ghost Rider?
Ghost Rider 1 was terrible but enjoyable. Like, it was a bad film, but it had moments of it where it was so bad it was funny. Number two crossed that boundary by a lot. Like, I enjoy bad films, but number two was just bad.
Yeah, it was hot trash. I
Like,
mean, they're both quite bad.
number two was significantly worse now. Like, number one is like 5 out of 10. Number two is like a 2 out of 10. I don't know how that film got made.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Like, you think about how many people wrote that script, rewrote that script, proofread that script, took it to the picture meeting.
And it's not like it got released a year later where they quickly rushed it out. There was such a big gap in between, and then they were like, yeah, this is the story we need to tell after this much time.
Yeah. It's like, it just
Maybe it was
boggles my mind.
right. I'm not sure. I mean, okay, I think let's cover the first one and then we can go on to the second one.
Okay.
Even though right now it's kind of a mix. I'm trying to think what was in the first one and what was in the second one. What did you hate about it? I mean, apart from everything, the one thing that stuck out.
One thing I hated. I feel like you have a lot more hate for this film than I do.
It's hot trash. It's
like,
not even,
I enjoyed it.
It's because you can tell they tried to make it good and it just isn't. It's not like they understood how insane the premise is and they were like, we're going to double down on this and we're just going to make it really stupid and crazy on purpose. It was erring on the side of let's try and take this seriously.
But there were so many points where it's like, why? Why have you done this?
Yeah.
Like, the one that got me straight away, right? So his dad, spoilers, his dad jumps up the ramp, falls off, falls to the ramp, falls to his death, yeah?
How did he die?
He goes up the ramp like sideways and then falls down.
Surely he's taken a bigger fall than that in his life.
But when his son comes in,
I think I could survive that.
But when his son comes in, he's at the top of the ramp again. So they got his dying body picked up, dragged it all the way to the top of the ramp, and then put him down. Because how did he die? Because it was just either he fell off the ramp and then they dragged him back up, or he just fell off his bike at the top and fell in some flames, maybe. But he had no burns over his face. So how did he die?
I mean, I'm assuming maybe the devil. I mean, it's kind of the devil. Was just
Mephisto, isn't it? Like, I can't think of his name, but it's supposed to be Mephisto.
Yeah. There's just so much wrong with it. I'm trying to think now, but I'm going blank just because of how bad it is. Everything. I hate it.
Another one that's just jumping far, far in the head. When the other Ghost Rider guy, spoilers again, the guy who's been helping him was in fact a Ghost Rider.
Oh, don't get me. Yeah.
He says, I'm going to have this one big glass thing, rides on his little horse, gets to the place and then fucks off home.
What was the point of that?
What was the point? What did he do?
At no point is Nick Cage like, wait, you're not going to help me?
Right.
They don't have that conversation. It's just like, okay, why did you come all this way?
It wasn't like they were talking on.
How does he know there's a limited amount of changes you can do? And how did he know he was on that number? And
true.
Why would you leave it till now to?
And then, plus, why not use it when you're in a fight?
Yeah, when Blackheart came, asking for the thing, change then.
Yeah, that's what makes sense. And what happens when he leaves? Does he die? Does he just go be an old man now? Does he ever die? Because he's like hundreds of years old.
I guess he faded and was going to heaven. Yeah.
I didn't see him fade.
Yeah, I think.
All right. I think my brain's trying to cut out as much as it. My brain's just like dangerously trying to forget everything I watched.
Yeah, I think after the last transformation, he faded. I think because he says, I hope God will accept me after all the
wrongs I've done. Shit, right, okay. I wouldn't. No. Well, you had this opportunity to help and you fucked about. You went on a field trip. You killed some lizards. I don't get that lizard thing, right? So when they're riding in the desert, they kill any lizard that's next to them. What about when he was in the street? Is he killing cats? Is there a little dog running by to get set into flames?
He blew up like all the shops. And surely people died.
I mean, I know he's an anti-hero, but I bet he's killed more than Blackheart did in the film.
There's the whole editing and pacing of the movie. It feels like it was made by 5 different directors. They all filmed their little bit and then it just had to all be combined. Like when he transforms for the first time into Ghost Rider and then goes to find Blackheart. That whole thing is so choppy and weird.
Yeah, sure.
He drives into the train place I think they're at, and then Blackheart just comes out of nowhere like, oh, hello. No sort of weird bit where he's like, oh, I sense him, or it's like, oh, hey there.
You just reminded me about I know this is number 2 and I'll tell them one at the moment, but the only good part in number 2 is when Nick Cage goes full Nick Cage when he transforms to Ghost Rider. Or like semi-transforms. When Ghost Rider's knocking at the door.
He's scraping at the door! Scraping at the door!
Is that when he's interrogating that guy?
Yes.
I love that part. He properly
He's knocking at the door. Like, he's just amazing. That's like the best part of that entire film.
They should have took that and just doubled down on that, and it would have been an amazing movie.
This is one of the facts, but the director of number 2 was like, Nick Cage is just more entertaining than Ghost Rider. That's why they didn't have any Ghost Rider in the film. It's just all Nick.
Yeah, but it's not Nick, is it though? They try and make him all like. I mean, we get onto number 2 actually. Just
a point that is, you said, isn't Nick. Okay, think about how many times Ghost Rider was screaming in the face of the villains. Think about behind the scenes. That's going to be Nick Cage, and I'm not going to say what he's in. I'm saving that, but just Nick Cage screaming in people's face. There's a kid screaming at Nick while Nick's screaming at the kid. That's full Nick Cage. Nick Cage went crazy in this.
I guess. Why is Idris Elba in it?
Literally, when he started playing, it's like I was like, "Is this Ghost Rider? Have I got the wrong film on?"
Joe. Yes.
Would you watch it again?
I think I'd watch the first one again. Like, if I just want a stupid bad film, then I would. The first one is entertaining for me. Second one, no. Second one, I would never ever watch again.
I just don't see any circumstance where I'm going to watch any of them ever again.
If I put on Ghost Rider 1, would you leave the room?
I'd just ask you, like, why, Jake? Why are you doing that?
Just why? Why, Jake?
There's plenty of better bad movies that are enjoyable to watch.
True.
The only situation I'd probably watch it is if Ava Mendes sat me down and was like, this is actually my favorite movie that I acted in. I'd be like, yeah, okay.
I think once I get to the facts, I might have to ruin that little fantasy for you.
Okay. Well, I can tell because you didn't come back.
I've got another little thing about that as well. So I've got many little facts coming up. Speaking of which, do you want to get into the facts and theory part then?
All right, jump into your facts then.
Oh, me first. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You intrigued me.
Okay, so before I get into the actual Deadpool himself, I'm going to talk about his little accessories.
Okay.
First and most awesome one being his motorbike. Now, in the film, you see in both films, you can see either ride up walls, burning the glass along the way, driving along the water, probably boiling the fish along the way.
Just one thing about that, when he's driving up the building and there's a window cleaner. How does that window cleaner not get absolutely just devastated by glass shards?
I mean, that's a fantastic point. He doesn't shatter the glass though? He melts the glass.
No, but that's bullshit, isn't it? So
remember what film we're talking about?
True. Yeah.
Okay. So that's in the film, but in the comics, I don't want to talk about the comics too much. But in the comics, Ghost Rider's bike is faster than Thor's hammer. Yeah. So a
lot faster, or
a lot faster. So
really?
Thor and Ghost Rider were fighting. Thor flew Mjolnir. Ghost Rider's like, fuck that, I'm out. Drove off. Mjolnir could not catch up to him. So when Thor called it back, Ghost Rider grabbed onto the end of the hammer, got the extra speed, and it just went straight into Thor. Took him completely out.
Damn.
Like insult, injury to insult. Like, you can't catch me, but I'm going to use your own hammer to beat you down. Ghost Rider's fucking awesome.
That's really fast then.
Oh yeah, it must be stupid fast. I don't have any actual numbers for miles per hour, but dude, it's faster than Mjolnir.
It's a good flex.
It's a strong flex. Okay, now the second one, his second little arsenal, his weapon of choice, the chain. Did you know that was he mentally controls that with his mind?
In what way?
He controls where it goes. He can control the shape of it, the length of it. In the comics.
Oh, so he doesn't just swing it. He can
no.
Do his own thing.
Yeah. Have you seen in the second one when he's fighting the guy, the bad guy, the main bad guy, and the chain wraps around him and snakes up.
Yeah, yeah.
That's him controlling it with
And
his
then it
mind.
expands to the length of hell
Yeah.
when he throws him.
Speaking of snakes up, I'm going to jump a few because Nick Cage based his whole performance. Nick Cage practiced his whole acting to his snake. I'm just going to let that sit in before I go on to any further. Yeah. Okay. So I love Nick Cage. This is why. So during a talk show, he talked about how his Cobra Sheba. He'd practice his acting on it, and then he'd take inspiration how it moves, the way it moves around. He even said, "This is a direct quote. If you look at the movie, you then see me doing this. I then spin around and pounce on my victims." I don't know what part of the film. Is there any snake part of the film? Does he?
No, he does move really weird though, like erratic.
Was there?
No, and he's like the first instance where he's just standing there, and they try and do like a really cool shot, and then he quickly turns.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, and one final thing: any acting decision that the snake didn't like, it turned his back on Nick Cage, letting him know that that was not the right choice.
Because when you think Ghost Rider, you think Snake.
It just fits. It makes perfect sense.
The cobra is an animal that tends to try to hypnotize its prey. It gives you its back, and on the back, oddly enough, is something that looks very much like an eye, almost like the eye in The Lord of the Rings at the end of the sequel. And they move back and forth in a rhythmic motion like Axl Rose, and then they attack once they think they have you asleep. And I thought that would look good in the Ghost Rider, in his body language. There was a dignity to Ghost Rider that Johnny Blaze doesn't have. I wanted him to be something that's kind of an ancient, like Brian Taylor would call him, like a pharaoh, like an ancient pharaoh that's coming back from another dimension to wreak vengeance.
That's mental.
And the thing is, right, Nick Cage is a massive Ghost Rider fan. He has a Ghost Rider tattoo on his body that they had to paint over during the film.
Really?
Yeah, like he wasn't even going to be the main choice. They wanted Johnny Depp and Eric Bana to do it. You know, like the second Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one.
Is he the first? I thought the other Edward Norton was the first one.
He's the second one.
Oh, okay. So you got Eric. They wanted Eric Bana, but because Nick Cage is such a Ghost Rider fan, he like begged super hard and properly fought his way into the role.
I mean, I think he could be a good Ghost Rider, given the right.
He also wrote parts of the script.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. Another reason that I don't want to laugh at anyone's substance problems, but Black Cat, the actor, coked out of his face the entire film.
Really?
On shit tons of heroin. He said the only reason he did the film was to get money for more drugs. Like, he's sober now, so it's cool, but yeah, he dude was fucked.
Shit.
How do you get why this film is so bad?
I mean, I can see it now.
Nick Cage is writing it based on a snake, and the other guy's fucked out of his face.
That's mental.
Yeah.
These people are crazy.
Yeah.
They're in charge of multi-million-dollar projects.
How did these films get made? Right, so let me go back into the Nick Cage. Right, so the 3D skull that he has when he's Ghost Rider, that's actually Nick Cage's skull. It's a 3D reconstruction of the X-rays they got on Nick Cage's head. So it's actually his skull. In the first one, the second one, they threw that away.
Stuff like that, I don't understand. They take like really special attention and care and do something like that. But when it comes to, I don't know, maybe going over the script one more time and tightening some loose ends, nah.
That's not important. But talking about paying little attention to little detail, his first jump where he properly fails it and it goes on his head?
Yeah.
Like the dude should have killed him straight away. That is basically Evel Knievel's actual jump.
What, like they got the exact measurements and...
Basically, maybe not the exact measurements, but he jumped the length of a football field with trucks underneath and probably crashed at the end. It's Evel Knievel. Like they paid like certain attention. And another one, the helicopter one, I think it was the helicopter one, from goalpost to goalpost, was performed in Vegas by an actual Daredevil, which broke a world record. So if Johnny Blaze was real, he would be the record breakers. He would own all Daredevil records for motorbikes and jumping shit. And nearly dying. My favorite one, this is my favorite out of all of them. So you remember when I was talking about Nick Cage just screaming at the people's faces?
Yeah.
He wore Baron Sunday's makeup, which like voodoo makeup. Imagine this face. Well, Nick Cage dressed in this makeup, getting all the ritual spirits, because he performed rituals before he even acted. Every time on set, before his role again, he went into his little meditation and performed the ritual, put on the makeup.
I would paint my face in sort of like an Afro-Caribbean voodoo icon or a New Orleanian voodoo icon, Baron Samedi. I put black contacts in my eyes. I would put bits of rock that had a frequency to it, or allegedly had a frequency to it. I would sew Egyptian artifacts into my costume, and I wouldn't talk to anybody.
They got a new actor to play the villain in the second film. Do you know why they did that? Because the original actor, Pete Fonda, read the first 5 pages of the script and just flat out refused. He's like, fuck this is shit.
But he was okay with the first one.
Apparently, even Pete Fonda has his limits. Did the villain of the second film have a stroke midway through?
Oh, you mean with the face thing? I think that's because his powers are like diminishing. That's why he has to transfer into the boy. And I think when he makes Blackout, like the decay guy, transforms him, I think he's like...
That's when they starts like decaying.
Yeah, because he used like the last bit of his power.
Because it's just full on stroke, like.
Yeah.
Like, I was really confused at that point. I didn't know that. I was like, what's going on? Why has he had a stroke?
I mean, I assume, but with this movie, I don't know. That's just in my head, canon, what I think is happening. But who knows? Maybe the devil's having a stroke.
I forgot there's two final facts. So the first film was the debut of Rebel Wilson. You know, the girl in... Yeah. And the second fact, Johnny Blaze don't do interviews.
Blaze, any case, event publicity. I was wondering if you had time for a quick interview.
Look, I don't know how long you've been doing your job, man, but Johnny Blaze don't do no interviews, okay?
Unless it's Ava Mendes.
Unless it's Ava Mendes.
That's a bit about my theory, actually.
Ooh. Oh, that leads us on perfectly then. Embrace you with this theory.
Okay.
Did you find this yourself, or did you make this?
These are all my theories, because I searched for theories about this film, but shockingly, I didn't find any. I found one, which I guess I'll just touch on, where I thought it was crap, though. But
I like the honesty.
I saw some guy on Reddit. I won't name who it is. His theory is that because Johnny never actually technically signs in the first movie, it just sort of pricks him with blood, and like he doesn't actually give consent.
Right. Okay.
So technically, he's not bound by that contract. So technically, he's doing all this when he doesn't need to.
He didn't mean to transform, though. He didn't.
Exactly.
He wanted to go on a hot date with Eva Mendes.
Yeah.
When Eva Mendes is on that hot date, by herself, she got super drunk, and she turns to that waiter and says, "Am I hot?" He goes, "Meh."
Yeah.
Excuse me, what?
Also, before he even changes, he's like, she's already there, so he's already late. Like he's late because of what happens. He's already late. He's a dick.
True. That's actually true.
Okay, but
yeah, sorry, go on.
I've got a theory for each movie.
Oh, okay.
Because they retcon everything, so it just doesn't really make sense. So I'll start with the first movie. My theory is Ava Mendes' character made a deal with, I'm just going to call him the devil, or Mephisto, or I think it's Rourke. Yeah.
What's his actual name in it?
I think it's Rourke, but...
Oh, is it?
Or maybe that's in the second one. I'm pretty sure it's Rourke. So I think her character, can't even remember the name of her character. Oh, Roxanne.
Roxanne.
Yeah, Roxy. I can't believe they didn't have the song, though, in the movie.
Roxanne!
Dude, that would have been great, yeah.
So I think...
Do you think this film could have afforded that song?
They had some pretty big, at least in the first one. Yeah. Anyway, I think Roxanne, she made a deal with the devil after, in the like prologue when they're young, you know, after Johnny abandons her in the rain.
Yeah.
He doesn't even bother to go say anything. He could have just driven off in a completely different direction, but he made sure he went to that.
That's just spiteful. That's mean.
Exactly. Okay, I think after that happens, the devil, he's already in the area, not the devil. I'm just going to call him the devil. Just
call him the devil to make it easier.
He's in the area already, and then I think he meets her, and he promises her, makes another deal, that he will free her from her father in exchange for helping him in the future.
Okay.
So fast forward in the future, she appears out of nowhere for the first time in years. Not only is that whole entrance very weird, the way they shoot it, she just appears out of nowhere. But how is this like the only time she's covered one of his jumps?
Maybe she's been like avoiding his jumps because he's been the dick.
And now she's not avoiding him. Like you don't get randomly, like he's been famous for quite a while and you don't just randomly get put on that jump.
But his bad jump, his last jump was a really bad one because it went over his head. So maybe she's like, oh shit, he's going to die soon. Maybe I should make up to him. But I get what your logic. It does make like, why now out of everything?
I think the devil got her to go see Johnny. And then she's getting drunk at that dinner, not because he's late, but because she needs to get drunk to fake being interested in Johnny.
Oh, so you think the whole romance is just faked?
Yeah. And like she keeps leaving in the story, and then randomly in the next scene, she does a complete 180 and returns for no apparent reason. You could
that is true.
You could say that's bad script writing, or the devil saying you got to go back.
She's trying to return. Oh, okay.
And like you might be wondering, what's the devil asking her? And the whole thing is she's got to make herself like a damsel, so he will have a reason to fight Blackheart in the end.
Yes, because if it wasn't for her, he would never have fought Blackheart.
Exactly. And my little cherry on top of this theory is in the second film, she's nowhere to be seen. She's fulfilled her end of the deal, and now she has no reason to be with Johnny.
Oh shit! I think you might be onto something here. Because in the film, it's meant to be like she finds his dickishness charming. Well, maybe she doesn't. Maybe she just finds him a dick. That's a good theory. That's actually a good theory.
It's definitely not because Ava Mendes didn't want to return in the second.
Oh no. She hated that role, and she even gained a lot of weight because she looked nothing like the actual character. So she put on weight to do that role and felt awful the entire thing. But definitely, that's not a reason why she didn't come back. It's because
they thought about this.
Yeah,
that's my theory for that.
That's a good theory.
You like it?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the theory better than the film.
Yeah. That's where my head went. I couldn't enjoy it, so I was like, I need to. At first, I was trying to think of a theory with the second Ghost Rider, but then at the end when he changes, I'm like, I can't make a theory about him now.
Did you know there was actually 2 Ghost Riders? Not in the film.
In the comics, there's more, isn't there?
Well, these loads. The kid in the second film, what's it called, Daniel. He is actually based on the Ghost Rider. I think it's Johnny Blaze's like stepbrother. The kid's named after the character in the comics. He's not based on him, but okay. It's the person who takes over the Ghost Rider mantle after Johnny Blaze.
Okay, like mini Ghost Rider.
The mini Ghost Rider. So there's like 3 Ghost Riders.
Well, talking about that kid, that can move on to my second theory.
Oh, there's a second theory. I forgot there's a second theory.
Second.
Oh shit.
This one is it's not really a theory about Ghost Rider. It's more I completely gave up on the film, and this is in my head what I was watching.
Okay.
So I think the second movie it's actually about Nick Cage. He's actually playing himself. It's Nick Cage on hallucinogenics.
I can definitely see that.
Tracking down his bastard son.
So who's Idris Elba in all this then? Is he his friend who sells him the drugs?
Idris Elba's not actually there. He just lost out on a movie part like the other week to Idris Elba. So that's why Idris Elba keeps popping up in his head.
Right. I get it. See, that makes sense though. I think sorry to throw your theory in, but I think I can add something to it.
Okay.
Idris Elba's not there. Just before he took drugs, he watched Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
Because Idris Elba in Thor has the yellow eyes. Idris Elba in Ghost Rider 2 has the yellow eyes.
And a French accent.
Okay, yeah, he watched Thor in French.
Yes, that would be a Nick Cage thing to do.
It would be. Can't speak any French, but he watches Thor in French.
Yeah.
Just I need to throw that in. I think we're building something, yeah.
I think please build on it because there's not a lot to this theory. But he keeps like waking up in really random places throughout the movie.
Yeah, when he woke up in the hospital and he was just screaming for drugs.
Yeah, that's him waking up after an absolute bender. And then he sees the woman who's the mother. She's just some like European prostitute that he slept with. And she gave birth to his bastard son. And now he's trying to track him down. And he's on.
He could be the other guy then, the police. Who's the bad guy? So this is all a hallucination of Nick Cage. Who are the bad people? They're the actual police who are trying to take him off the streets and stop doing drugs.
I think they're all just in his head. And then
Everyone's in his head apart from the children.
the majority of it. I've not nailed down the specifics. But yeah, when he's out in the middle of nowhere and in that cave where he's pretending to get rid of the Ghost Rider, he's actually getting rid of these demons in his head. Is
that like the withdrawals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or he's actually going under.
I think we might have put more thought into this theory than they did for the actual plot of the film. So is that all your theories done then?
For now, yeah. I don't know.
Forever,
actually, I've never
forever.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, you sure? Last time I'm gonna ask you, are you sure you would never go back to these films?
Unless Marvel comes to me and says, "We want you to make the next Ghost Rider," I will watch Caesar's Homework as not what.
If a third came out, would you be in a cinema to watch it? Like third by Nick Cage, not Disney. Marvel takeover. This is Nick Cage third.
Probably would though.
You'd have to.
It's Nick Cage.
How could you not?
Thing is, I've heard Marvel wants him to actually do one, but like a Marvel one.
What?
Yeah.
So the rights are in Marvel. As soon as the second film ended, the rights went straight back to Marvel.
So when I was doing some very questionable research on this, I did keep saying that, like that headline kept popping up.
Seriously?
Yeah, I didn't click on it because I don't know how.
Click on websites, it is difficult.
So I don't know if it's from like a legitimate source, but yeah, apparently they want him back.
That would be amazing. Well, in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, it was like a Ghost Rider after him.
Yeah, something Reyes, I think.
Yeah. So I wonder if if they do bring him back, will they go for like
I hope they do
Johnny Blaze? He's the iconic one, isn't it? That's what you'd go for.
Just bring Nick Cage, do a movie with Deadpool and Ghost Rider, and just make it balls to the wall, R-rated.
Can I throw in Danny DeVito somewhere?
Yeah, he's Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider with Danny. Okay, right. Sorry, Nick Cage. I love Nick Cage, but I think he's out. The next Marvel Ghost Rider has to be Danny DeVito.
Or it's Nick Cage when he's Johnny Blaze, but then when he turns into Ghost Rider, it's actually just Danny DeVito.
Yeah, it turns into a skeleton and then shrinks.
And the bike changes as well. It gets into like a push bike.
That's phenomenal. I need to see this film. Okay, so I think this wraps up Facts and Theories, yes?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, yeah. To all the 3 viewers that we're going to get to this, hi, thank you. Like, subscribe. We are new, so we do need the help. Don't press the notification because that's just crazy. No one does that. I don't want anyone who does that.
Don't be that guy.
No one wants that guy.